Hi everyone, it's me again, Yasmin, back with another video. And like I said, I'm going to film a video every single day, but today's video is going to be very different from any of my other videos because I'm actually going to attempt to do a cooking video. I know people who know me are going to be like, oh my god, what is she thinking? But it's one of the things I love to do. Aside from hair and makeup and fashion, I actually do really enjoy cooking. So I thought today we're gonna do a cooking video. So we're gonna do something really basic today, and it's a Ghanaian dish. Well, I don't know if it's Ghanaian, but I know Ghanaian people eat this food a lot because it's easy to make and it can't really go wrong. Like, it will always taste good no matter, well, okay, let me not say that, but it's easy. So today we're gonna be making corned beef stew. So yeah, I'm gonna like talk you through how I make my corned beef stew, what I do. So anybody out there, maybe you want to learn how to cook Ghanaian dishes, or just anybody at all, you want to cook something simple, because right now I've just come in from town, I'm hungry, I need to make my son dinner, and this is what I'm gonna be making today. So I hope you guys enjoy this video, and let's get started. So first I'm going to start with a list of all the things you're going to need. So for this dish, obviously you're going to need a saucepan or a pot. This is just like a medium-sized pot, nothing huge, because I'm just going to be using one pack of tomatoes. So this will do fine. So this is the first thing you'll need. Second thing you're going to be needing is your frying medium. So this is, I'm guessing, is vegetable oil, but if you want to use sunflower oil, olive oil, whatever oil of your preference, but for this dish I'm going to be using sunflower oil. The next thing you're going to need is an onion, and that's for frying. I'm going to fry the onion first, so you'll be needing an onion. Second thing you're going to need is your chopped tomatoes, and we just use these ones. They're from Sainsbury's Basic chopped tomatoes, and it's just in a little carton. And you're going to need your spices. So I'm just showing you like just basic spices, but I mean a staple that everybody should use in their corned beef stew, in my opinion, is a Maggi cube. Like, you can't really cook a Ghanaian dish without Maggi. It's just not right. So this is a Maggi cube. So I would advise that, you know, if you can get your hands on a Maggi cube, do. And this is a prawn cube. It's like Maggi but prawn flavor, and it does add a lot of nice flavor to your food. And finally, last but not least, is your corned beef. This is Exeter corned beef. I think this is a popular one within Ghanaians, but any corned beef you can get your hands on will actually do the trick, or it should do the trick. So this is just corned beef. We're going to be eating our corned beef with rice, so obviously you'll be needing your rice, and this is basmati rice, because in this household we like to eat basmati. I know some people like long grain, and there's a whole war between Nigerians and Ghanaians, easy cook long grain against basmati, but me, I'm a basmati girl all day every day. So basically that was my list of ingredients. So next up is gonna be an actual tutorial of how I cook my corned beef stew. Stay tuned. Hi guys, I'm really sorry, but I had to fast forward the rest of the video as it would have been too long. So basically, as you can see here, I'm showing you a Scotch bonnet. Forgot to show that earlier, and we're going to be adding that to our dish. So you'll be needing a nice sharp knife and a chopping board, and now we're going to chop up our onion. So I just remove the top and the bottom, and then I slice it right through the middle, as that makes it easier for me to remove the skin. So just doing that now. And I like to give my onion a bit of a rinse before I use it, so that's what I'm doing. Sorry about all the mess, guys. And I'm actually going to be slicing my onions. Some people dice them into little squares, but I'm actually a fan of onions and I like to see them and taste them. So on this occasion, I'm going to be slicing them. And these are quite chunky actually. But yeah, whatever your preference is absolutely fine. So now I'm going to do the same. Well, not the same. I'm going to remove the top bit. And I like my food quite spicy, but because my son is going to be eating this dish too, I'm only going to use half. So I'm going to chop half of the Scotch bonnet into little bits. And we're going to add that to our dish. Some people like to use garlic. And I usually do use garlic, but I didn't have any. So yeah, I'll be seeing you guys in my next part. So basically, you just want to put your saucepan onto the fire, turn your your stove or whatever. I have a gas cooker, and we're going to add our oil. I would say maybe 2 tablespoons or tablespoon and a half, not too much, but just enough to fry off your onions, because when you don't use enough oil, sometimes your stew just has that dry thing, and I don't really like dry stew. I like there to be a bit of moisture, so I put enough oil, and we're just going to add our onions and our chili into the oil when it's at a decent heat to fry. So we're just going to add the onions in, waiting for the oil to get a bit hot. So that's gone in. You'll hear a sizzling sound when your onions go in. You can hear them frying off nicely, and you'll be needing a wooden spoon, something I also forgot to show earlier, just to mix all your products around. So give it a good mix, make sure all the oil is touching everywhere. And next we're going to add in our chili. Give that a good stir, and I like to fry that off for a couple of minutes before I add my tomatoes, which you'll see in my next stage. So now we're going to be adding our chopped tomatoes to our dish. Like I showed you earlier, we just used a basic Sainsbury's chopped tomatoes. I'm going to use the whole carton and pour that in. Give it a good mix around. And I like to leave it at this stage for a little while before I add my spices. I just like for the stew, the onion and the chili and the garlic, when I do use it, just to simmer together for a while. So the next part, while my stew is simmering, I always like to put my rice on halfway through, because I hate it when the stew's ready and you're sitting there waiting for the rice to cook. Like, I'm hungry, I want to eat now, I want all my food to be ready at the same time. So basically what I'm going to do is, I've got my saucepan, which is slightly bigger than the saucepan I'm using for the stew, and we're going to add our basmati rice. We keep a cup in our rice, and on this occasion the cup's one of my son's old cups that he used to use, and I'm going to be using 3 cups of rice. So just going to pour that in. I like to wash my rice. I was always brought up to wash my rice, so I do wash my rice. So I've just washed it, as you can see, and I've just filled the water level up just so it's covering on top of the rice. I mean, you can use a rice cooker. It's a lot easier, because this technique, it needs practice, and a lot of the time I burn it this way, but this is just how I do it. And then add a bit of salt for taste, because there's nothing worse than rice without salt. So that goes on for a high heat until all the water evaporates off the top, and then we're going to move back onto our stew. So now we're back with the stew, and it's nicely simmered. It's going well. You can see it's getting a bit of colour. The onions are cooked. So we're going to go ahead and add our spices. So the first spice I'm going to add is the garlic powder, as I didn't add any garlic before, and I do find that garlic is important in cooking dishes. Gives it a nice taste. The next is good old all-purpose seasoning. So you want to do a sprinkle of that. Give it a good stir. Next is our trusted Maggi cube, which is a staple and a must in this dish. I can't stress that enough. We need the Maggi. So next up, the prawn cube that I showed earlier as well, and we're only going to use half of it as it is quite big and the stew I'm making is small, so we're just going to use half of that prawn cube and we're going to sprinkle that into our stew. So I'm just going to leave that to simmer for a while, let all the spices infuse into our stew. So I like to leave that on the stove for a while before I add my corned beef, which we're most definitely going to see in the next stage. So now my stew's been on for a couple of minutes, probably about 10 minutes or less, and we're going to add our corned beef. It has a weird key system that if you lose that key, you're basically screwed. So make sure when you purchase it, the key is intact, because it will be hard to get it out without that. So I'm just scooping, using my knife to scoop chunks of the corned beef out of the tin and into my stew. And my mum likes to make her corned beef with big chunks of corned beef in it, and she also adds egg as well, but I'm not really a fan of eggy corned beef stew. I mean, it's nice and I eat it, but most of the time when I am making corned beef stew, it will be eggless. I'll probably add like string beans or sweet peppers or mushroom, but on this occasion, as you can see, so lazy that I didn't add any of that. So we've put that in. You just want to mash it all up, mix it all together. You can see already the stew is coming together nicely, and that's basically all you're going to do. You're just going to leave it on the stove to simmer for maybe about a further 10 minutes. And with the rice, as you can see, the water has evaporated, so we're going to pour some water onto the rice, turn the stove down, put a lid on it, and the rice is going to cook as I'm showing here. Like I said, turn the stove down, pour some water in a cup, pour it on top of the rice, and put a lid on it, which I didn't have. Yep, so we've got our lid. That's on. So basically the rice and the stew will be ready at the same time, and we'll have beautiful results. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial, guys. I really enjoyed making it, and I look forward to making more. I've already had a request for jollof rice, so that might be my next one, or it might be spaghetti bolognese. So thanks for watching again, guys, and I will most definitely see you in my next video. Bye.